Dan Gable once said, "Once you have wrestled, everything else in life is easy." Wrestling is a very misunderstood sport that many people do not know much about. Today, the goal of my speech will be to inform you about wrestling and what goes on in a wrestling match and why people do what they do when training, and so you can understand the mechanics of everything that is going on in this very intricate process. My 5 points will be the time limit in the match, which is 3 2-minute periods. My second point will be the weight classes that pertain to the high school division of wrestling. My third point will be the cutting weight and the training that goes in to wrestling and everything around wrestling. My fourth point will be the scoring points in the match and how a match is scored. And my fifth point will be the starting positions that pertain to a wrestling match and then go on throughout the match. So my first point will be the three 2-minute periods. Each wrestling match has 3 2-minute periods that a referee is scoring, as well as someone is working the clock. And at the end of each period, each person will have their choice of starting position, just depending on what they prefer. And at the beginning of the first period, they start neutral, which I will explain here later in the speech what all those positions mean. The second point that you need to understand about wrestling is the weight classes. In the high school division, there are 14 different weight classes spanning from 106 pounds all the way up from 285 pounds. These weight classes are typically around 7 or 8 pounds apart, just depending on where you are in the lineup. And when you're making weight before a wrestling meet, you have to be exactly on that weight in order to be able to compete. If you are even 0.1 over the competition weight, you will not be able to compete and you'll be disqualified from that weight class. Which brings me to my third point, which goes in the cutting weight in order to make the weight class and the training that goes into wrestling. Wrestling training involves a lot of cardiovascular activity so that you can be in really good shape so that you're able to compete a full 6-minute match, as well as a lot of mental training that goes in so you're able to deal with the anxiety and the nerves that come along when preparing for a competition and other things that you're doing. And when it comes to the cutting weight process, wrestlers cut weight because they're over the weight class that they want to be at, and so they want to lose a little bit of weight so that they're able to make the weight class below so that they aren't giving up any strength during wrestling matches. This can be done in a variety of ways, and these ways, the healthy ways to do it are eating healthy with proper dieting, as well as extra workouts, which a lot of wrestlers will take to a treadmill or a exercise bike, and they will do some extra cardiovascular activity in order to get their metabolism going so that they can lose extra weight throughout the day, as well as burn body fat and calories. Okay? And which brings me to my fourth topic, which is how a wrestling match is scored. So throughout a wrestling match, referees score in a variety of different ways. I'll bring my partner out and I'll demonstrate these ways. So the first way you can score in a wrestling match is with a takedown. Okay? So I'll be demonstrating the takedown on Olivia, not very violently, but I'll be demonstrating it on her just so you can get a grasp. So first is a takedown is 2 points. So if I take Olivia down to the ground and cover and have clear control of the situation, that is 2 points. Okay, the referee will score that 2 points. And then if Olivia gets on top of me right here, so if I were to score an escape from here, which is me getting up and escaping, which would be, and then we go back up to the neutral position, which is us both on the feet, that would be 1 point. And then if Olivia were to get on top and I were to reverse her and get on top of her, that would be 2 points. Okay, and that is the gist of how a wrestling match is scored. And then, which brings us to the starting positions throughout a wrestling match. So if Olivia will come over here, You start at the beginning of a wrestling match, you start at both on your feet like this. No one has a clear advantage in this situation. And then as we just demonstrated, at the beginning of the second or third period, you're able to choose if you want to start on the bottom or top. My position that I'm in right now on all fours is the bottom position, and Olivia's position is on top. Different wrestlers have different preferences of where they'd like to start, and that is totally up to them. So the 5 topics that we covered were the 3 2-minute periods that are in a wrestling match, the different weight classes, the cutting weight and the training in a wrestling match, the starting positions, and how a wrestling match is scored. And I hope by watching this speech you're able to learn more about how a wrestling match works and why wrestlers do what they do in order to compete and train. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, people.